Philly cream cheese, sponsor. It could work. Hi guys. I feel like I'm yelling. I don't know if it echoes in here or what. I should know. I should really check. Welcome, welcome. Hello, Miss Monica. Angela, hi. That bread that you had online the other day looked amazing. Doreen, Patty, hello. Elle. Angela, do you really want to be in the video? Because if you do, I'll put you on. All right, let's see what you got. Hey Beth, hi. Okay, that sounds good. I had some of this Panettone. I picked up a bunch of these at Adams. They're a nice giveaway, you know, when you have someone that you want to give a little gift to. And I know Thomas loves them. It is a sweet, eggy, buttery brioche kind of bread with candied fruit in it. So this one has raisins and I think candied orange peel. It's delicious as is. I just sliced it up and put it on the table for breakfast yesterday, and people were noshing on it. It's also great for toast, but French toast is really good too. And after it's been sitting out all day, let's be honest, it gets a little dried out on the edges, right? So I decided to make French toast with it, and it worked out very well. But I wanted to do something a little different. Let's see. I'm going to pull this out. Sorry, it's noisy. So we ate half of it, and it comes in this paper wrapper. Just peel that off. Come on, Kasha. It's it's sweet, but it's got the fruit. And I'm not going to say they're all the same because clearly you can get really good ones. My friend Janet makes an amazing one. If you're local, you can send me a DM and I will put you in contact with her after the holidays. Most of the store-bought ones are pretty much commercial bakery fine once they get past the holidays, and you can get them on sale. They're great to have on hand for this very purpose. So I cut the round. They kind of like a coffee can, you know. They're pretty tall, and they are round, but this is half because I already used some of it. And I just cut this in 2 slices. That's just under an inch, so maybe a ½ inch. And I cut a few more. It's better for French toast if you let it dry out a bit, which is why the stuff that I had left over yesterday was excellent, just left on the counter to dry. It doesn't get as soggy. So I'm going to be really careful when I make my custard today, and also when I'm spreading cream cheese on it. So what we're going to do is take the Panettone slices. I'm going to spread cream cheese on one side, orange marmalade on the other, sandwich them together, soak them in an egg custard, and then put them on my griddle. First, I'm going to use a little bit of sliced almonds. I'm going to throw these in my pan. Sliced almonds are kind of bland. They're plain, you know. But once you toast them, they develop a nice rich flavor. So I'm going to throw these on here carefully. And if I run back, it's because I forgot that they were there. And they are going to burn, so I'm not going to do that. All right, I'm going to let this sit. I have brought my cream cheese out, and I've been kind of squeezing it in here. So we had bagels the other day, so there's only a part of a block of cream cheese, but I am squeezing it to get it room temperature because I did not take it out earlier. I've been running around all afternoon. So I'm gonna let those almonds go and I will whip up a drink. So I thought about the orange and the almond and what would go with that and what could I tolerate on New Year's Day, because that's usually when I would make something elaborate like this. And all I could tolerate was orange and maybe a little tequila. I didn't have any champagne. Otherwise, I would make a mimosa or something, but that's kind of boring. So I didn't want to do that. So I'm going to grab some ice and show you the prettiest little drink called a tequila sunrise. Since I'm doing almonds, I am going to fortify this with a little bit of amaretto, just for fun. Why did I tap that? Because it could be freaking hot. Cast iron gets like that. This is a tiny skillet. This skillet was my mom's, so I remember it when I was a kid, so it's got to be 50 in her possession for over 50 years. We'll give her that. All right, tequila sunrise. Ice. We're going to go with 2 ounces of tequila. This is a Blanco, and I do not know, I don't know anything about tequila as far as brands or Blanco, Reposado, Añejo, all those little nuances. I don't know anything about it, so I am always looking. So if you have some recommendations, I am more than happy to take those recommendations. Give me a DM, post it in the comments. I'd love to see. Now we need 4 ounces of orange juice. Is fresh squeezed better? Yes. Was I going to do that? I could, but not with yesterday being Christmas, or if I'm making this on New Year's Day, certainly not on New Year's Eve. I'm going to do a little squeeze of lime. Have you heard of the cheeks? So you know how it has the stem part down the center? You want to cut on the side of that, just on the side, and that will eliminate that center part, and it's not as unattractive, right? And it gets all that nice lime, the lime juice in there. We're going to squeeze that in. Come on. I have no hand strength. You know, I've been kneading a lot of dough lately, so I've been having some hand issues, unfortunately. Ooh, they're starting to get a little toasty. Yay! Okay. Now, because sometimes there's almond extract, and because I'm putting almond in there, I'm going to use a little amaretto, just a splash. Okay, that was a big splash. So this adds sweetness, which you'll find out later. I'm not going to add too much sugar to this. All right. Stir it around a little. Now the magic happens. Ready? This thing is ancient, this grenadine. It's corn syrup and coloring, so it really doesn't matter how old it is. About a tablespoon or so. And now look. It looks like a beautiful sunrise. Tequila sunrise. Cheers, guys. That's very good, and I assume that it will knock me on my butt if I drink 2 of them. They're just starting to get a little toasty, and throw them back on. Now, the thing about cast iron, it does retain heat, so if you turn it off and leave the stuff in the pan, it's going to keep cooking a little bit, so keep an eye on it. Just because you turned it off doesn't mean that it's not going to cook anymore. Once you present this drink to your guests, if you have cute little swizzle sticks, do that. I don't today. I bet I have them somewhere because I have way more stuff than I care to admit. All right. Almonds are on, almost done. Bread is sliced. I'm going to do a small batch here. You could totally do a larger batch, and you can actually bake them, which is kind of cool. I'm going to crack my egg. Did you see that? I cracked it on the counter. I don't like to crack it on the edge of the bowl because sometimes little bits of shell can get in, and I get really frustrated when I get a little bit of shell in the egg, so I don't like to do that. So I'm going to crack my egg. That's a lovely egg. I've noticed that a lot of the yolks lately have been very tiny. Disappointing. I can smell those almonds. They smell fantastic. So I'm just going to turn that off right now. And they will continue to cook in there. I'm going to add about two tablespoons of light cream. Can you use milk? Absolutely. Can you use cream with water? Definitely. Sometimes I've used almond milk, I've used coconut milk, I've used orange juice. Use whatever you have on hand. A milk product or a creamier product is, it gives you the custard kind of flavor, texture that you're looking for. Simple. Beat it up. I'm using a shallow bowl because I'm going to stick the stacks of Panettone right in here. So this morning I made a batch of this just to sample it, and Thomas was very happy to see that because he was the recipient. So I had a little bit of extra egg, and I'm just going to throw this in here because I'm going to make a bunch of these. But this same ratio applies. And what happens for me anyway, when I do French toast or something like that, I always, hi Patty, nice to see you down under. That's not exactly what I meant. You're from down under. But whatever floats your boat. You always end up needing more bread or more custard. So one thing that I like about this, once you assemble all of your Panettone little sandwiches, you can actually throw them in a casserole dish, like a 9x13, put them in the bottom, pour the custard over, leave it in the fridge overnight, and bake it the next day. So you don't have to fry them in butter. It works just fine. Okay, next, I'm going to assemble my little Panettone stacks. I have my friend Chris's Luna Grown Jam. This is orange marmalade. I don't know if you can see the slices of orange in there. Chris is fabulous. I can smell them. All right. These are nice and toasty, so I'm just going to leave them as is. If I let them get too far in there, I would pour them out onto a plate just to let them cool off and not use the pan anymore as storage. I told you I have a lot of these, right? Offset spatulas. Yeah. They're the best spreading tools. Okay. So I got a little bit of orange marmalade on one side of this. Use as much as you want. I don't want too much because the bread is already kind of sweet. Now we go with the room temperature cream cheese. I am waiting for Kristen. Kristen's not feeling well. My little inspiration is not feeling well these days. If this was warm room temperature cream cheese, it would spread a little bit better. You just have to be very gentle and take small slivers if it's not room temperature, because this will tear your bread. That's not good. I'm going to leave it like that. So one side with orange marmalade, one side with the cream cheese. stick them together. It's not a bad sandwich as is. And I'll do one more like that. Try to get them in order the way they were in the loaf. That way they stick together with the no edges exposed. I will say, if you don't like cream cheese, or if you want something additional, orange marmalade with Nutella is top notch. Fantastic. Okay, orange marmalade, a little bit of cream cheese. Do you have to spread it? No, I suppose not. See, offset spatulas kick butt. Okay. Easy peasy. Just a little sandwich. All right, now I gotta think. I'm gonna let those sit in my batter for just a minute. You know what? I'm gonna do something else. I wanted to top these. I can say ass. Oh, thank you, Shane. I appreciate that. Ooh, a couple more of these, I'll be saying a lot worse than that. All right, so I'm gonna put these on the side because I thought whipped cream would be awesome with this. So I'm gonna get that. My griddle is heating up. Heavy cream. I love these. This is a quart container. They have measurements on the side. So if you ever want to use a measuring cup without using a measuring cup, you can use these guys. All right. So I have, hello, Mama. I have half a cup of heavy cream. I am going to throw a little bit of vanilla extract in here. And because I have almonds already in my dish, I'm going to throw a little amaretto in because I like to layer all the things. Kind of like extract. It's probably not the smartest thing I ever did, but I got this immersion blender. This is Mueller. No, I do not get an affiliate fee or sponsorship. This one has a whisk on it. Do you know how easy it is to make whipped cream when you have a whisk on your immersion blender? 30 seconds to a minute. Very dangerous. So I can have enough whipped cream just for a snack. So I put the vanilla extract and a little amaretto in here, but I did not put any sugar. Ordinarily, if I was doing a dessert, I would put a little bit of sugar in it, but I'm not going to because the panettone and the marmalade is already sweet. This is going to cut that a little bit with, but still gild the lily. So ready? This goes right in my jar. This is not what came with it. This is just a quart and a half, 3/4. It's like 3 cups in here. Wide mouth, so it fits. But the fact that it is pretty much the diameter, the radius of my mixer, the whisk, says it will beat a lot faster. So let's see how this works. Ready? I don't think me turning it really does anything. It's just habit. It's not done yet, but it is thickening up. Okay. That's kind of like pancake batter now. And keep going. It turns in seconds. So I can see little lines where the tines of the whisk were, and this is pretty much almost done. God, that fast. All right, there you go. See what I mean? Dangerous. Very dangerous. Having whipped cream on hand, very dangerous. All right, whipped cream is here. I want to know what you guys did for the holidays while I let these guys soak in here. I'm going to need a few minutes, so tell me what you guys were up to. We had Christmas yesterday. We had Christmas Eve. I was a little nervous because there's something brown floating in here, and then I realized it was just a raisin. So I'm going to turn this in, put it on one side, flip it over a little bit. It really doesn't need much time because this panettone is very fresh, and if you let it sit too long, it will fall apart. It'll get too mushy. So I'm not going to let that happen. Just going to flip it once or twice. Latkes. Shane made latkes. Good girl. So my question for you is, Shane, did you do them like Doris used to do them? Because I've seen a lot of, I'm going to take this out now because I don't want it to get too soft. That's why I like to let it dry out, but clearly I was unprepared. Not like I didn't know this morning I was doing this. So, Shane, did you do them like Doris used to do them, where she would grate them and add in a little flour, or did you use a gluten-free alternative? Thomas and I made lasagna. Sorry, eggs. Oh, it's hot now. Thomas and I made lasagna, and it was amazing. Paul always contributed big ziti to our holiday dinners, which was unusual for our family because we never had a pasta course. Just gonna move that off because cast iron gets pretty hot. We never really had a pasta course. So the first time that Paul made big ziti, because that's what you're supposed to do, my parents were floored. My mother could not eat anymore. But that was a tradition that we wanted to keep in the family meals. So we kept doing that. And he always made the best sauce. Best sauce. So I tried to replicate as best I could. And I did use our homegrown tomatoes, homegrown parsley, garlic. I made all the meatballs. You know, everything was from scratch, even the lasagna noodles. Was I going to do lasagna to begin with? I wanted to, but I also thought, you know what? If I'm overwhelmed, I'm just going to use ziti because that's what he would have done. But I went to 3 different Adams stores on Friday before Christmas, and I forgot to get ziti at every store. So because I had flour and eggs, Thomas and I were able to make lasagna noodles. And really, once you get the dough kneaded, it's no big deal. It's simple with the roller. I do use the KitchenAid roller, but I have used the crank roller, and it's fine. And it tastes so good. It was so good. The silence around my Christmas table yesterday was incredible. Everybody had their lasagna piece, and we had vegetable and salad, and I had meatballs and pork and sausage that I cooked in the sauce, had those on the side so everybody could add a little bit of extra sauce and some meat if they wanted it. And it was just silent. And that is the biggest compliment because everybody was eating. So that was an awesome way to include Paul in our holiday, even though he wasn't here. So yeah, it's not a downer. I posted to my Facebook page last week about mentioning those loved ones we have lost. And my friend Tracy and Patty lost their son a long time ago. I'm going to say 16 years ago. And they said, Tracy said something about, you know, it's okay to mention them. They existed. They spent so much time loving us, and we spent our time being with them and having them in our lives. So to ignore the fact that they existed, it doesn't feel good for those of us who have lost our close loved ones. So feel free to talk about them. It's okay most of the time. You can also ask, does it make you feel uncomfortable? And if it does, move on from the conversation. Just give them a hug. It's all good. So there you go. We had we had Paul at our Christmas table with lasagna. So I'm going to go back, Shane. I know you commented, Doris made latkes. Well, yes, but we didn't call them latkes. We called them potato pancakes because that's what we do in the Polish household. We put them in the food processor, squeezed out the liquid, reincorporated starch, and added eggs. Okay, that's exactly what she would have done, but she also grated onion. My mother hates the texture of onion, which is ironic because for, what was it, 30, 25 years, she was an onion farmer's wife and an onion farmer herself. So for her to not like onions was ironic. So yes, she would grate in the onion, and it had a great flavor, but it didn't have the little bits of onions that would make her go like this and spit it out. All right, I'm gonna put this back on the burner. Does anybody else want to share the Christmas? What do we do for Christmas Eve? I made pierogi. So Thomas didn't really help. He kind of sat on the chair on his phone. But his aunt Denise helped me make the pierogi for Christmas Eve, and we put those in the freezer, so I was able to defrost those yesterday and get those fried in no time. I'm getting to be an expert at that. And what else did I do? I did a roasted chicken with gravy and broccoli, and it was simple. It was simple, and it was nice and just mellow. All right, so I'm gonna move my custard. Perfect. I'm gonna go with some butter. Do you have to use butter? Can you use oil? Okay, this is gonna sound a little snarky. If you're eating panettone with a custard, a little bit of butter is not gonna hurt. So get a little butter on your griddle. You can use a nonstick skillet if you want. That's what I used before. All good. These can be a little unwieldy to pick up when they are already soaked. So I'm going to pick it up with my fish spatula. Turn it over there. You can't hear the sizzle. I don't think you can hear the sizzle. There's a little bit of a sizzle. I should have let it heat up a little bit longer. Say la vie. What's your favorite thing to do with panettone since you have, most of you have it left over? Anybody? Hi, Brian. Hi, Rita. Yes. Latkes were my favorite birthday dinner. My mom used to make those all the time. Okay, now we're sizzling. Tequila sunrise. Let me recap. 2 ounces of tequila. This was a Blanco. 4 ounces of OJ, splash of amaretto. Amaretto was this one. Okay, that's the almond flavored liqueur. I did a squeeze of lime because sometimes orange juice can be a little one-dimensional and not quite as tart as I like. I stirred this together with ice, and because I knew grenadine was very sweet, I didn't put, I put the lime in to kind of balance that out a little bit. Poured the grenadine in, it settles to the bottom, so it's pretty red and pink, and then it merges to yellow, and you can stir it up when you drink it. All right, we're sizzling now. I'm not sizzled yet. I don't think I could be on this drink. Stir that together with ice, and it's beautiful. No, I would not make this as a batch cocktail. Batch cocktails meaning you mix up all the liquor and stuff and don't add anything fizzy until later, till you portion it out, and don't add the ice. But you can mix up batch margaritas in a pitcher, get all those things done ahead of time. Like if you're doing something for New Year's Eve and you want to do that, make a batch ahead. You can, I do sangria where I will put it in a half-gallon mason jar and leave that in the fridge and pour it out as I need it. And if you like to do something fizzy like a sparkling cava, or, you know, it's like champagne like, but from Spain. If you want to do something like that, you want to add that later because the fizz will dissipate as you have it in the fridge. So you want your sangria to kind of meld with all the fruit and stuff as it is sitting in the refrigerator. And then when you're ready to serve, if you want to put it into a larger pitcher and strain out most of the fruit and just leave some pretty garnished fruit in there, you can do that and then add your cava. Would I do this? No, because it's just tequila and orange juice. I suppose you could. Simple enough. Let's see what we've got here. Ready? All right, it's getting there. You don't want it too high. Cast iron can be a little finicky in the beginning. You don't want it too high because it will burn on the outside before it gets that custard cooked through on the inside. But since I didn't soak these forever, they should be fine. And the bread on the inside is not going to be like dried bread. It's going to be softer, more delicate, and a little sweeter than what you're expecting from a traditional French toast. What's your favorite French toast topping? This is what I want to know. Like maple syrup? Do you put fruit, whipped cream, jam? Did I say Nutella? Yes, you can put Nutella on here. I did say that. I'm letting this go perfectly because this is my dinner. So I'm not going to do a swap out. I'm just going to let it go. And I do have more pieces of bread here. So after you guys are done, I will do this up for Thomas. Pure maple syrup only. Absolutely. Absolutely, farm boy. All right, let me turn this over. I don't need to show you this. Beautiful. Oh my God. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. So if you have seen us at farmers markets, now we haven't done farmers markets. We haven't sold at farmers markets since 2017. I think 2016, 2017. But my kid grew up in farmers markets. He was 6 weeks old the first time I brought him to a farmer's market, and I had a fabric sling that I would keep him in. And a lot of you shopped with us then, and you remember him peeking his little head out of that sling as I helped you guys at the farm stand. And when he got a little older, now we always got breakfast from whatever establishment was in the area. So we were having breakfast and he wanted pancakes. He wanted pancakes, and the diner gave him a little thing of syrup, you know, the little plastic with the peel back paper. He was a dipper, so I poured it onto the side of the container and he dipped it in there, took one bite of this syrup, and he wouldn't eat anymore at 3. He's like, I don't know what that is, but it's not syrup. It certainly was not. It was, of course, corn syrup with maple flavoring. And the lovely lady next to us, Mary Ann, sold maple syrup, and she gave Thomas a little bottle of real maple syrup, put it in his dish, and he was a happy camper at 3. But even then, he had a discerning palate, which makes me happy now because he can make those choices. And not only is he eating something that's better for him than just straight sugar, still maple syrup is sugar, but he's also doing the right thing and supporting maple syrup farmers. So 2 of the farmers that I support locally are Finding Home Farms. They're in Greenville, and if you ever want to go to their cafe, it's very cool. The best hot chocolate and the ice creams and all kinds of beautiful things. And then my friend Brian is up in Sullivan County, and he also taps trees and makes his own syrup. Okay, I'm going to give it just a minute. This does not heat as evenly as I liked. I'm flipping them around because I don't want one side to get darker than the other. This is pretty much like orange juice and water right now. That's okay. Let's see how this is gonna go. All right, 2 more minutes. Anybody else? What is your plan for New Year's Eve? I did, last year Paul was sick on New Year's Eve, so it was just me and my dad. And my cocktail of choice was a French 75, which is gin, lemon juice, elderflower liqueur, and champagne. I think there was a little simple syrup in there. And because it was just the two of us, our poker game would have been very boring. So we did not do poker. We did Connect Four instead. And he kicked my butt at Connect Four. And then we played Othello. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's little chips. Hey, Jonathan. Little chips, black on one side, white on the other, and then you put them on the board and you have to kind of sandwich the other guy's colors, and then you can take control of them. And he likes, we're all very competitive around here. Yeah, what are you gonna do? All right, let's plate this baby up. So I want to know what you're doing for New Year's Eve. Oh, gorgeous. It's just gorgeous. Look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful. Not hot anymore. Can you put syrup on here? Sure. I'm not going to because it already has a bunch of that stuff in it. The sweet. So I'm going to put a little bit of almond. Not hot. Just had to check. Don't put that on the counter if it's hot. Whipped cream. Not bad, huh? Not bad for 30 seconds work. Okay, it's gonna slide. So that's the way it goes. With hot stuff, that looks beautiful. It looks beautiful. I wish I had my camera. I'll just have to take a picture otherwise because it's engaged at this point. I'm gonna take a bite. Oh my God. One thing Thomas and I learned, all right, look at that. It's beautiful. It's probably too big a bite to be polite. Mm. 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 I know the heavy cream probably seemed over the top, but that heavy cream, vanilla, and amaretto flavor just really highlights the citrus in the panettone and the almonds. Excellent combination. I am impressed. So panettone, eggs, cream, Adams in Middletown, Newburgh, Wappingers, Kingston, and Poughkeepsie. I got the, what? Think, Kasha. Marmalade. Marmalade was from Luna Grown Jam. And if you need any kind of jams for the holidays, Luna Grown does ship. They ship nationwide, so you can get it on that, lunagrown.com. Yeah. It's amazing. It's delicious. So if there are no more questions, this is a great New Year's Day brunch. Use up that panettone that you have laying around. And if you don't have it laying around, if Adam still has some, Wednesday nights from 5 to close is their customer appreciation night. So it's 10% off everything. So I might just go back to Adam's and get a few more because they will last quite a while. And this is a nice treat for everybody. And what else do we make? Tequila sunrise. Again, please send me ideas for tequilas because I definitely want to try different types of tequila, different varieties, brands of tequila. Don't know anything about it, so I am welcome to learning. This is about it. I will get back to you guys if I'm going to be doing next week. I have to come up with something. I think I'll be okay. So I wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year next week. I hope to see you soon, and I will post the replay very shortly. Have a great night, guys. Thank you.